Hey guys, Long Live Games Guy here, and today we're going to do little something a little bit different. So, welcome back to Quarantine Movie Review. So, this isn't going to be a whole full-fledged review. This is going to be more like a kind of like a mini review. Since these are like shorts after all. So I don't want to spend like 10 minutes on each episode or whatever, but these are more like shorts, so I'm going to treat them as shorts. So we're going to do a little bit of a mini review for all 9 episodes of Star Wars Visions. Well, let's get started. And by the way, before I begin, this is going to have spoilers for every single episode. I'm going to be laying out the plots and exactly what I like about them, exactly what I don't like about them. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the duel. The duel is about this lone Sith, going to this, small little village, and he seems to be he's just stopping by, getting some tea or whatever, when all of a sudden the Empire shows up. But, surprisingly, he fights against the Empire, and this Sith that shows up, and she has, like, this freaking umbrella lightsaber, which I find actually pretty freaking cool. I'm not even gonna cap. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I definitely found this lightsaber, like, really, really cool, especially a kill she gets with it is freaking, it looks amazing. So, speaking of looks, the first thing I noticed about this episode was the art style. I absolutely love the art style. It's almost like a painting, right? It's almost like an old Japanese, like one of those old Japanese paintings that they just use like ink to freaking paint or whatever, bro. And I love the art style. In fact, I just love like stuff like this in general, where 2D is kind of mixed with 3D. I freaking love it. And this one of those, and it's done amazing here. I absolutely love the art style of this episode. And overall, I think this episode is the best episode out of the 9. I feel like it's the best episode out of the 9. This episode is really, really good. I love the fight between the Sith and the other Sith. And at the end of the episode, it's actually revealed that this Sith is like hunting down other Siths to kill and protect the people. So this is actually a good guy. The Sith is actually a good guy, which I found very cool. I found like a very cool concept. The whole episode had like that samurai duel type of thing that oh my gosh, Akira Kurosawa kind of feel. I don't know if I said that name right. I probably didn't. But yeah, if you could make out who I was talking about, it's in that sort of art style, and it's that sort of style in general, like coming from the fights to the music to the atmosphere to the way things are shot. Like just everything is just in that old samurai movie type of feel, which I absolutely loved. Combined with the art style, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Absolutely, freaking adored it, and I thought it was a great freaking start. So let's move on to episode 2. So, Tatooine Rhapsody is about this Padawan that, was just surviving off of Order 66, and he pretty much joins a rock band, an intergalactic rock band. I found this kind of like a cute concept, and I kind of like the concept of this. I feel like it's unique. I feel like it's kind of cool. I didn't like the art style that much this time around, but again, I'm not gonna rag down on it. It wasn't bad. It's just, it wasn't my type of thing. But some things I liked about the episode. I liked the ending. I like how it wasn't just a random, all out freaking fight against Boba. I like how they resolved it in like a smart way. That wasn't just we're gonna freaking do an epic fight at the end. You know, I feel like that definitely like would have made the. I feel like they resolved it in a way that wasn't like cliche, which I like. However, what I didn't like the whole stuff about. I don't see what the point of having the main character have this lightsaber be. He does nothing with it, and it kind of serves like a microphone, which is kind of dope. I like the concept, but I like the concept of him being Order 66 for some reason. I feel like that's kind of, for some reason in my mind, I think that's kind of cool. But you know, he has his lightsaber and he really does nothing with it. There's nothing really to resolve it. You know, there's nothing really to resolve like really anything. This episode kind of moves kind of fast, which I also dislike. It feels kind of rushed. You know, things just sort of happen. But I like the characters. I feel it was an alright episode. I feel like it was an alright episode. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. In fact, I thought it was kind of good. So I give this like an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Probably wouldn't watch it again, but wouldn't be mad if I had to watch it again. Wouldn't be mad. All right, episode 3, the twins. We're gonna spend quite a bit on this one, folks. We're gonna spend quite a bit on this one. So, the twins is about these two, twins. They have like Darth Vader armor and they're genetically engineered and stuff like that. And so pretty much they're carrying around they're in charge of these two Star Destroyers, which are connected together by this big sort of like laser thing. And they are pretty much going to use this cannon or whatever to destroy planets. It's pretty much like a Death Star, pretty much. And so they're both in charge of piloting these things. There's two Star Destroyers, so they pilot. So one side pilots one twin, pilots one, and one pilots the other. But one of the twins, you know, it's not. He decides one day he's like, you know, I'm not with this Empire crap no more. We're going to destroy this weapon, and I'm going to like sabotage this weapon, and then I'm going to dip. And you know, the other twin doesn't like that. And they're like, bet. Well, we're gonna have to fight then, because I'm still with the Empire. We're gonna have to fight. You know. So I like the So at first, I like the concept. Of this episode. I feel like this is a pretty good concept. You know, that sibling rivalry type of joint. See, there is a major problem with this episode, and it's the fact that after the midway point, this episode spirals into madness. Let me tell you. Okay, so let me tell you what I kind of wanted from this series at first. I kind of wanted something different. I really wanted something different, and for this show, with this show, you know, I got that. I kind of got that. I kind of got something different. Kind of got some new concepts out of here. You know, stuff like that. You know, so that's what I wanted from this show. And I kind of want some over-the-top stuff too. Some over-the-top stuff too. That's why I like the Sith with the umbrella lightsaber things in the duel. I thought that was cool, and the way they used it was cool. This episode is over the top, but it is like way over the top. When I tell you this is the most anime you can possibly anime, this is it. If for anyone who wanted a freaking a Dragon Ball Z style Star Wars anime, this is your episode, then you will like this episode. I did not want that. I did not want some Dragon Ball Z level freaking absurdity and craziness up in here, but that's what I got. Chat. I don't know why I said chat. I'm not streaming. when I tell you, I can pinpoint the exact moment where this episode goes insane, and it is when the twin, one of the twins, he's a dude, takes off his armor, and then, he uses the force or whatever, gets inside like an X-wing. He gets inside an X-wing and he flies out of the base. When he flies out of the base, it's like all sense, logic, and reasoning goes out the window. It's like physics and law and freaking and I know, I out of anyone knows that freaking Star Wars, is definitely not the most freaking realistic freaking depiction of space. Absolutely not. It's definitely not the most realistic depiction of for pretty much anything, right? It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. But this even broke Star Wars rules. Guys, after this sucker got out of his TIE fighter, his X-wing, he gets out and starts breathing in space. Guys, if you have not seen this episode yet, right now, I'm gonna let you know, everything I describe next is in the episode. It is in the episode. It is real. You can ask anybody who's seen it. They will say the exact same stuff. It is in the episode, and it is real. And I don't blame you if you think that I am lying. Because if someone told this to me, I would think I'm lying. I would think I'm lying too. If I told this to myself before I saw this episode, I think I'm lying too. I'd be like, there's no freaking way that they would do that. There's no way they would do that. So, the twin gets out the Star Destroyer, starts blocking the X-Wing with the Force, stopping it from taking off. The dude gets out, starts breathing in space, while, by the way, standing on the freaking X-Wing like gravity doesn't exist or something. Then they go down, have a lightsaber duel. By the way, the dude does not have a helmet. He took all of his Darth Vader armor in the Star Destroyer. So this guy has no armor or nothing. He's in Han Solo attire. Right? This guy's in Han Solo attire. He has no protection, space protection of any kind, and this is just fine. Then freaking his twin, which is a girl, takes off her mask in space and is completely fine. Completely fine. So from here, I am automatically my suspense of disbelief has already been thrown out the window. Alright, I'm already what? And by the way, there's no sense of anti-gravity or anything. These suckers are just perfectly standing on surfaces, not affected by anti-gravity or anything at all, and they're just cool. They're just fine. They're fine. The most you get is that the lady's hair is freaking, it's floating in crap. That's the most you get. And so let me mention a part of the plot that I forgot to mention. So in order to sabotage the Star Destroyers, what the boy steals is this sort of crystal, and he takes it. So apparently this crystal can give you powers or whatever. It can give you abilities, make you super powerful. Is any of this explained? No, and that's a problem. That's gonna come in later. Let me just finish describing the episode. So, they have this. So the girl has this crystal. That means they're both doing that kind of the boy loses track, things slips out of his hands, and they're doing like that thing, in The Last Jedi, where Kylo Ren and Rey, were both using the Force in order to get control of the lightsaber in the middle, and then end up breaking apart. That's pretty much what happened here. That's pretty much exactly what happened here. But the girl managed to put a piece of the crystal inside her suit, or whatever. Is that explained? No. But she's able to put it in her suit, in her armor. And then, guys, this episode loses its mind. See, it was already ridiculous, but then it loses its freaking mind. She freaking starts freaking out and crap, freaking having a whole Dragon Ball Z power-up moment. She's like, ah! And then it's revealed to, and then it kills her, presumably, right? It kills her. But it's revealed that, no, the scene we just saw was actually what the boy was showing the girl. The boy was showing her. It was actually like a Force vision that the boy was showing his sister, and they're like, and he's like, yeah, if you put it inside your chest and inside your armor, it's going to kill you. And the girl was like, oh shoot. Well, I'm gonna do it anyway, and she freaking puts it in, but it doesn't kill her, right? She has the same power, Dragon Ball Z moment, right? But it doesn't kill her. Instead, oh my gosh, she freaking gets extra freaking arms. She grows extra arms, yo, extra arms. She grows extra arms out of her armor, and then in each arm she gets a lightsaber. Where did these lightsabers come from? I don't know. Because from what I saw, she only had one lightsaber on her arsenal. But nah, all of a sudden she gets freaking like 6 lightsabers. Alright? She looks like General Grievous. And by the way, I saw this in the trailer. This was in the trailer for the show, right? And originally I was 100% on board. I was like, dang, yo, that's cool. When I saw that in the trailer, I thought it was cool. So like that was exactly the type of like uniqueness I was kind of looking for. I was kind of looking exactly, for something like that. But I thought it was going to be, just a little bit more well done. Just a little bit better. I didn't think it was going to be this freaking crazy and over the top and stupid. I didn't think it was gonna be this stupid. I did not straight up think it was gonna be this stupid. I gotta stop calling it over the top. It's stupid. Alright, it's straight up dummy. So what happens next is that these lightsabers start extending into freaking like tentacles, and they start attacking him, and the dude is freaking flipping and dipping, avoiding them and crap. By the way, the freaking things are gigantic, and they're like destroying parts of the Star Destroyer and crap. The dude's doing flips and dips, and by the way, anti-gravity just does not freaking exist. Apparently in this universe, space has gravity. I'm sorry. Yes. And apparently in this universe, space actually has gravity, and this dude freaking flips and dips with no trouble at all, and the freaking like lightsabers are extending and crap, and then oh my gosh, and then this boy comes up with the plan to defeat.
Maybe if I use the power of the ship's propulsion system, then it just might. And my lightsaber. I'm just not sure if I'll be able to try something so reckless. You're right, R2-O. It's just like you say. There is no try, only do. I can make this work! long as you're alive, then you are free. And you're free to choose your own destiny! Punch it!
The freaking, so, you know, an evil C-3PO comes out, right? Like a Empire version of C-3PO comes out. You guess what he's wearing? A helmet. He's effing wearing a helmet. But none of these, not either of the twins had to wear a helmet this entire fight. But yet, the droid has to. This episode gets a 1 out of 10. That was a long one. Yeah, I know. But I'm done. Alright, let's move on to episode 4. So, episode 4 is about this Jedi, you know, and, you know, she's kind of, it feels like, you know, she kind of, like, does not know what to do with her life, or something like that, so she's on this planet, and this planet has, you know, kind of like a tribal, kind of like religious, sort of people to it, and apparently this girl is getting, like, forced into marriage for the prosperity of her people on this planet. The Empire is threatening to destroy it and destroy their villages and stuff like that. I thought this, you know, after the absolute insanity that was last episode, this episode was a much well appreciated change of pace. It felt like it felt kind of like tranquil, you know. Like, I really love the music behind this episode. I really love the art style and the music behind this episode. You know, it's if this episode for some reason feels so tranquil and like cathartic, like it, I don't know how to describe it, but like when I was watching this episode, like I was kind of like entranced, this episode like really good. Like it was so cool, kind of like seeing the environment in this planet, in this world, and like the people behind it, you know. That's pretty much mainly what this what this episode explores. It explores the people behind this planet, what's going on, and this Jedi comes to save, you know, finds her purpose and, you know, comes to save the day and stuff. I do feel like it kind of falls apart near the end, you know. The villain was not interesting at all. He was just a really evil guy, a evil bald guy. You know, I didn't really find him that interesting, you know. I thought he was, thought it was just an uninteresting villain. But yeah, apart from like that, I'd say like a lot of the episode I enjoyed. So I'm going to give this episode I actually give this episode a 9 out of 10. Really liked this episode. Really liked it. Thought it was thought it was like, especially after the absolute turd that was the third episode. Yeah, this was a definite nice change of pace and absolute improvement in quality. So, the Ninth Jedi. The Ninth Jedi, I'm going to say right now, is the best one since the first. The Ninth Jedi is pretty great. So, it's about these Jedi who get this, you know, they get this distress gathering kind of call, right? And they're all summoned to one place to get some lightsabers, since these Jedi they're all missing lightsabers. You know, this is right after Order 66. You know, the Jedi are in shambles, and they have nowhere to go and no weapons. So they're like, bet, well, this might be a trap, but let's just go to this location and see if we can. Let's just see if we can get, you know, some help or some supplies. But again, might be a trap, and that's kind of like the mystery throughout this entire episode. The mystery throughout this entire episode is like, is this a trap? is this, like, they're all in this room with this gigantic freaking droid. This huge, gigantic, threatening AF droid, and they don't know. They don't know whether this guy who are supposed to give them a bunch of lightsabers can be trusted or not, and that's kind of like the mission. And there's also another thing that's going on, like kind of like a B plot that's going on with this little girl. And this little girl is the one that's supposed to be delivering the lightsabers. She's supposed to deliver the lightsabers to these Jedi, right? She's supposed to deliver the lightsabers to these Jedi. You know, her father makes the lightsabers, but her father gets killed, so she has to go on this journey to get the lightsabers to these Jedi. You know, I thought this was a very great episode, and that had a really good twist. That had a really good twist to it. I thought this was great, just great episode overall. I'd say like the only issue I had with it was that, you know, during the final fight, right? This girl who we haven't even seen pick up a lightsaber yet. She starts picking up a lightsaber and starts freaking flailing and flipping and dipping like she's been doing this for freaking, like she's a whole freaking Jedi from the Jedi Council. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's just freaking going all over the place. And you know, that's kind of like an issue I have. But you know, for me, it really doesn't detract from the whole episode, because the final shot, and I was going to give this a 9 out of 10 because of that. I was going to give this like a 9 out of 10 because of that, even though it was like great. But the final shot of the episode, I mean, this final shot, because the shot is, right, they're all summoned to this place, you know, and they're all summoned to like this rock, you know, but the base is on this rock, so in this like narrow, vertical, like gigantic rock, right? And it's shooting like a beam from underneath it. At the end of the episode, they like you know, you get one wide shot of this location, and then they flip the camera upside down, and it's revealed that the rock is actually a freaking, like it's in the shape of a lightsaber. I think that's so freaking clever. I think that's so freaking clever and cool. I straight up gave it a 10 out of 10 just for that. It boosted up to a 10 out of 10 for me. Because the entire episode is about these lightsabers, and it's about a lightsaber manufacturer. And you know, you turn the camera around and realize it's a lightsaber. Like, I thought it was freaking awesome. I thought it was freaking like super clever and freaking cool. So yeah. Give this episode a 10 out of 10. Best one since the first so far. But let's get to the next one. It might be better. Alright, so just how we got a best one since the first, we have to get the worst one since the duel. Now, hold on. I don't think this episode is as bad as the duel. It absolutely is not. It absolutely is not that. But you know, this episode is just, you know, it's just not that good. You know, I was liking the concept. The concept was this. The pretty much concept is straight out of Mega Man. Yeah, the concept is Mega Man. This. Or Pinocchio, or Mega Man, or Pinocchio. I say more Pinocchio than Mega Man, even though there's kind of like a combination of the two. But this professor, he makes this robotic, I guess, cyborg. You know, the description of the episode did say cyborg, so I'm just gonna call him a cyborg. So he makes this cyborg. You know, this robotic kind of child, and this child wants to be a Jedi so bad, but the professor is the creator or whatever, you know, he's a Jedi. And this is post Order 66, so he is extremely worried and scared, and does not want him to freaking go out and fulfill that dream. Until one day, the Empire catches up with the Jedi and he hides the boy away, and he gives him his little boy a lightsaber, and then crazy stuff happens. This episode, okay, so I like the art style for this episode. The art style for this episode is definitely different. It's freaking different and stuff. And I was kind of bothered at first, admittedly, but during the final fight, it actually made me realize how sick the art style really was. It's like, dang, his art style is pretty sick. If only the final fight was pretty sick. This episode, it suffers from not anything being explained at all. Like, not anything, and that's like a big freaking issue with this episode, is that not anything, it doesn't make sense. The structure of this episode doesn't make sense. Alright, it straight up doesn't. So the episode begins, him hanging out with his professor or whatever. Then, during the midpoint, the professor gets caught, or killed, more like, by the Empire, by this freaking Sith, right? He gets killed by this Sith. And then they go through this montage where the boy is starting to rebuild. By the way, I forgot to say something. The lab that the kid was created in, that the professor built, is completely destroyed. So the kid, along with these other droids that the professor created, start rebuilding this lab. And then when something absolutely random happens, the Sith returns for some reason. The Sith comes back alone and starts to fight the boy. Like, the Sith randomly comes back alone to kill the kid. I don't know. But I kind of have a theory, but let me finish. So the kid the Jedi, so the random Sith comes back for some reason, and I don't know, just starts, I don't know, like, he just comes back and starts fighting, but all of a sudden the freaking little boy, who's, by the way, never even used this lightsaber, picks up the lightsaber and freaking starts flipping and dipping and doing freaking, like, acting like he's he's been doing this entire life, acting like he's a freaking Jedi master. And this was an issue with the last episode, but this episode brings it to a new level. At least you can make some sort of excuse for like the last episode, like maybe since her father was a lightsaber manufacturer, maybe he gave her some lessons or whatever. But like this kid, this professor literally, and they made it an avid point to show off that the professor literally did not want his boy to become a Jedi at all. He only gave him a lightsaber to defend himself. And by the way, he never used it. He never freaking used it. We never, in that whole montage, the entire montage was just them rebuilding. Not at any moment during that montage does a boy even pick up the lightsaber or start swinging it around or anything. Like, we don't even get a moment like that. He just, like, when this Sith shows up, the boy just automatically is just a freaking Jedi master. And it's like, what the freak? And also, the entire reason why this fight happened doesn't make sense. Why did the Sith come back? They already killed the professor. Why would he go back to this planet? The Sith never knew about the cyborg kid, because the professor hid him away with the lightsaber. In fact, to make sure that the boy did not go out of cover or whatever, he deactivated him straight up, put him in sleep mode, like Windows sleep mode, So there was no way for the Sith to know about this kid. And even if he did find him, he would just assume that the droid was deactivated or whatever. Right? So there was literally no reason for this Sith to come back. to this planet. Literally zero at all. There's no explanation for it either. So if you're looking for an explanation for it, there's zero. There's zero explanation for any of this. How the boy is so good at using a lightsaber, why the Sith came back alone, just no reason at all. No reason at all. But I have a theory. And this episode made so like little sense, you know. But it made, but unlike like the twins, this actually had like I can like come actually like there's enough you know, there's enough coherentness. There's enough coherentness to where I can make up a theory of why this episode was got so freaking crazy. All right, so here's my theory, right? My theory is because during the first half of the episode, they make it very clear that the boy has a very vivid and active imagination. You know, because he has this sequences where he'll look at like engravings on the wall about the Jedi, and then he'll imagine the engravings moving and stuff like that kind of crap, right? He has like a very vivid imagination. So my only explanation is that the entire last final battle of this episode was not real. It was just the kid, you know, coping, you know, imagining getting revenge on the person that killed his creator. That is my theory. You know, that's why the boy is so random. That's why everything just happens so randomly. Also, something I also want to mention: the Sith randomly has like a monster mouth on his, like he has, like he doesn't like have like a helmet on, like that's actually his face. Like he freaking like has like a freaking monster mouth that shows up, and he has like jacked up teeth and crap, and it's like gray, and it's like what the like what like what like that's my only explanation, like because it does seem like something a kid would you know think up, especially a kid who just, you know, lost his freaking like pretty much his father, right? But the last fight itself actually looks amazing. Like it's animated super well, and the art style definitely freaking helps with that. So yeah, 6 out of 10. Would definitely not recommend. It was a rough one. The Elder is about these two Jedi that go to this planet to find you know, what they believe to be one of the last remaining Sith. So this is like pre-episode 1, I think. Like I mean there's no designated like time period, but you know, just by the way they're talking, you know, just by the way they're like talking about the Sith now, they're like, and this we heard like a Sith is on the planet, like, oh really? I thought the Sith were dead, like, you know, kind of like that, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's like pre-episode 1 or whatever, and that's just why I assume it is. But they're looking for this Sith, and they find him, all right. And what I really like about this episode, is that it defeats a cliche that happens throughout this entire show. It defeats a cliche that happens throughout this entire show, and that cliche is, you know, they'll have these characters who literally like they pick up a lightsaber and they freaking look at the lightsaber like, oh my gosh, what is this contraption? Oh my gosh, a lightsaber! I've never seen this in my entire life. Like they'll pick up a lightsaber and they'll look at it like that, right? And like you can tell like they're new, right? They don't know how to use this thing. Only for them to freaking fly, dang near freaking like do some Darth Maul crap with the lightsaber, do some General Grievous type stuff with the lightsaber, like they'll freaking be doing moves and crap. I'm like, how have you guys Like, why were you guys just looking at this lightsaber like you've never seen it before? But then when you actually need to use it, y'all freaking like like you guys are freaking kings at it. You're Jedi gods. You're Jedi gods. And this episode doesn't do that. The Padawan now this guy's actually a Padawan, so he's actually using the lightsaber before, but you know, he fights the Elder by himself, right? And he loses. I fully expected him to like win or get the upper hand or something, but no, the Elder loses, and his master, who's more experienced, fights him and wins. Like, it makes sense. It makes sense. I like the fact that they didn't just you know, have it, because here's right here, I thought they were going to do the opposite way. I thought they were going to do it like, okay, well, the master's going to find him, and then the master is going to lose, and then the Padawan's going to come in to save the day. But no, they actually did it in a way that makes sense. You know, it's not like, you know, it doesn't do the cliche that a lot of these episodes do. It doesn't do the cliche, which I very much appreciate. So yeah, great episode, great like definitely freaking like one of the best lightsaber fights in the entire show. So yeah, give this episode a solid 9 out of 10. Solid 9 out of 10. Lope in Ocho is about, you know, Lope, who is this kind of like this bunny girl, and her species is getting enslaved by the Empire, you know, and she lives in the city, you know, which has been, you know, seized by the Empire, and they're starting enslaving Lope's kind in there. But she gets adopted by, you know, a member of the royal family of this city, which is Ocho and her father. Ocho is her sister, and Ocho is not really, they're not really sisters, but you know, they're like stepsisters. They're like stepsisters. And they get adopted. So, later down the line, family drama starts to ensue when the Empire siege gets worse, and you know, the Emperor, not the Emperor, but you know, the father. I would just call him the father. The father gets really tired of the Empire being there and starts you know, fighting back against them, which Ocho, his daughter, does not like very much. They think they should just cooperate with the Empire, and you know, just be, you know, cooperate with the Empire, and you know, for the prosperity of their city. And this starts a whole family drama, sibling rivalry, stuff like that happens. And this episode surprised me a lot. And I mean, it surprised me a lot. So much so, I feel like out of all the episodes in this entire series, this one is the most, I feel like this is the most like competent for a sequel. Out of all these, if I wanted to see a sequel for all of these, this one would absolutely have a sequel. In fact, I don't even want to say much on this episode, because this one, I kind of want y'all to just see it for yourselves. This one of the, I think, is like the longest episode. I think it's like 25 minutes. And it, like, you see what happens when you have like a good runtime. You see what happens when you have a good runtime and you actually can, like, you know, make plot and characters and stuff like that. Like this, this one is actually like, surprised me so much. I give this one like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. I would just really even at 8.5, 8.5 out of 10. You know, there are definitely some issues with it. The sister becomes like a one-dimensional character. You know, she just becomes like full on like freaking cartoonishly evil at the end, which I didn't like. And also that issue with that cliche with you know, characters picking up lightsabers and thinking and freaking acting like Jedi Masters. You know, that's also in here. So, you know, but The story is just so interesting. I definitely would want a sequel to this. 8.5 out of 10. Now, Akagiri. This one is so interesting to me. This is another one that I want to see. I want a prequel to this one because this one is like the weirdest episode out of all of them. The weirdest. I'm not saying like over the top or stupid that goes to the twins, but like the weirdest because it like I was not feeling the episode, right? At first, I will admit I was not feeling this episode. You know, I thought it was kind of boring, and then like the last 5 minutes happened, and it goes from like kind of like this boring generic, oh shoot, lone Jedi. It was interesting. What's interesting about this character, I'll admit, from the very beginning, was the fact that this Jedi has like immense PTSD about something. He has like immense PTSD about something, and no, it is not Order 66. He has like immense, like he's having like whole psychological breakdowns, right? And he's having like whole nervous breakdowns and stuff, and you know it usually happens in the middle of battle too. So you know, really sucks for him. But then, you know, but again, they introduce these annoying side characters, and you know, the episode's about a princess trying to get her kingdom back and stuff, which just gets kind of interesting. But these are really just two annoying side characters. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't care about them. And then in the last 5 minutes, guys, this episode turns from, you know, kind of generic to outright psychological horror. And it turns into something that I really can't even spoil. I can't spoil it because it's so it's that weird and outlandish and that psychologically like screwy. Like I can't even describe it. It's so freaking. It turns into like a psychological horror film at the end, which is. And by the way, these are I didn't really like the art style either. But they, again, bro, they did something effective with it. There's an image that is burned into my mind, and it is like right here. I'll put this on the screen right now. This crap was freaking. This crap was crazy. Yeah, I don't even know what to rate this episode because that last 5 minutes, like, it's so baffling. And it turns like all I can say is that it turns into a freaking psychological horror film. It turns into a psychological horror film. And I kind of loved it. So like, yeah, I give this like a question mark out of 10. I really don't even know what to rate this. I really don't. I give this a whole question mark out of 10 because I don't even know. I really don't even know what to make of it. So yeah, that's it. Star Wars Visions review. I know I was gonna say this is a mini review, but it ended up being 51 minutes long somehow. I don't understand. I should have don't understand. Overall thoughts on the show, you know, it gave me, I wanted something new with Star Wars, and it gave me that. That's what I can say. So yeah, in the end, I was pretty satisfied. There's a bunch of room for improvement. But if they do a season 2 of this, I will not be mad. I just feel like, you know, just give them a little bit. Just give like. I say tell them, just tell them not to do the twins again. Just tell them not to do the twins again. Just like let them do what they want as long as it's not the twins again. Just don't do anything like that ever again, Disney. I never want to see anything like that. Do not allow that ever again. Yeah, never want to see that again. But so yeah, I definitely feel like this like this can definitely get better. And I would not be mad if they do something like this again. I kind of love sort of like things like this where animation studios collab and they make like different shorts and stuff. I kind of love stuff like this because not only is it cool to see like, you know, a bunch of people's different art styles and stuff, but you know, it gives people chances. It gives people more work, you know. because usually, you know, artists, unknown artists out there are, well, unknown, and they don't get a lot of work and stuff. And with stuff like this, you know, they can really show what they can do. So yeah, Lawless Games guy out. See you guys later.